And right there in the Supreme Court, I see a judgment again in the Supreme Court, and the matters now presented, and Supreme Court said we cannot entertain, and there's another strike out and strike out. And I enter in the realm of the spirit, and the Lord took me straight away, and I see myself to what's called the Supreme Court. Makata brokoto, brikata brakata. I said, my God, what are you taking me now? We are already done, and there's a verdict already passed out there, right there on the election petition tribunal. And the Lord said, no, it's not over yet, that everybody should now be attentive to what is going to happen right there. And I see myself in a place called Supreme Court straight away. Oh my God, what is all this? Why is God taking me to this matter one after the other? Please share the broadcast with your loved ones. Let them know. Tell everybody to listen to Major Prophet of God. Share this broadcast wherever you are. You're watching on television, you're watching on YouTube, your Facebook, wherever. Share the broadcast. Let them know Major Prophet of God is at it again. Major Prophet of God is at it again. Mataka proceda. Mataka proceda. Some people are waiting to see how everything will end. I have vowed to myself, I will never say a word of my own. I will always follow what is written in the realm of the spirit, to now go ahead of time, to speak what tomorrow holds, and speak of what the future holds, so that the people now can be able to know that God is the God of future. God is the God of today. God is God of tomorrow. God is God of yesterday. God is God of yesterday, today, tomorrow, and forever. For the world to fear this God. It is a time that everybody in Nigeria must fear God. It's a time that the whole world must shake, be terrified that you have a God in heaven. There's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. Shakata bara 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 bara. Reto kombroski tabarana bara. I said there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. I said there is a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, oh. There is a God, oh. There is a God, oh. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. There is a God, there's a God in heaven, the most powerful. God said, let the people know that there is a God in heaven that is called the most powerful God. Right now, the Lord said to Major Prophet of God, stand at the Supreme Court to tell the world what will unfold. Because I'm seeing the issue of what's called the people right now, right on what I told you yesterday. And I said the people will now come out and say, I reject this very verdict. I don't take it. And they will proceed to where it's called the Supreme Court. And right there in the Supreme Court, I see a judgment again in the Supreme Court. And the matters now presented, and Supreme Court said we cannot entertain. And there's another strike out and strike out at the Supreme Court. People now begin to wonder what is going to become the outcome of the Supreme Court, and what's going to happen of the petitioners and all the people that are going to go to court. Please share this broadcast. Let the people know that Major Prophet of God is right here to prophesy exactly the happenings in Nigeria. Because all the happening in Nigeria is very clear before Jehovah. By the special grace of God, Nigeria is the country where you have the highest number of people that serve and believe in God. And since we have the highest number of the people that believe in God, it's important that people are not kept in darkness, that there's a prophet that will tell them what will happen in the future, so that people can be able to hold themselves and not give yourself heart attack. Don't give yourself heart attack. Don't allow the politicians to make you give yourself heart attack. Know their secret before the time. Understand the handwriting on the wall. Know the mystery. Know the detail of the spiritual, so that you can concentrate your life and move on with your life and focus on God and focus on the next level, and never you allow yourself to become the one that will menace and manipulate and make you to now be the one that will be having BP on their behalf. Do not be ignorant of this. The Bible says, we'll wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against spiritual wickedness in the high places, where we are in a place where we must not allow people to take us for granted. We must be spiritual enough to understand the handwriting on the wall, because there's a handwriting on the wall. Because the Lord took me in the realm of the spirit, and I see all the politicians, now the people that they've struck out their case, said, no, we are not taking it. We are proceeding to the court, and we are moving to what's called the Supreme Court. Watch out, a date will be given, and the date will go far, and they put the date far. If care is not taken, that date is going to be by next month or ending, or they will move it to next year. Go and write what I'm saying. Ending or next month or next year. Supreme Court matter will now come up. Then the Supreme Court matter come up, and the people now begin to now spend money. And all the people you are spending money, have you taken time to know what is happening at the gate of entrance? Major prophet of God is a prophet that sees tomorrow, a prophet that knows it all by God. It's not me, but God who has called me has known it all. He knows everything, the intent of every man's heart. Have you been able to ask yourself what's going to become of the Supreme Court? Because I'm seeing what's called everybody rejecting what is the verdict and proceeding to Supreme Court. By the time they proceed to the Supreme Court, and I see the Supreme Court now asking for what's called the document of the last judgment, and they will be begin to provide and provide and provide, and the Supreme Court look at it, and the end of it all, Supreme Court will have nowhere to go but to now attest to what has been passed as a verdict. As a verdict. And they said that is how it is. We must uphold the ruling of the High Court. The High Court has already given their rulings and their readings, and these readings and their rulings is what the Supreme Court is now ready to go with. And the Supreme Court said, we are going with what the High Court have given us a verdict, and they now come up with what's called to now attest to it and uphold the judgment. And everybody that went to Supreme Court now got disappointed and said, why should it be so? We didn't expect it to be so. We are expecting the Supreme Court to say otherwise, and Supreme Court will now say whatever that the High Court has spoken, and that is what they will now uphold. And the people that went to Supreme Court will be completely devastated and completely disappointed. And that is where whoever want to back out will back out, and whoever want to say, oh, I'm taking this to international criminal justice, I'm going to international court and this and that one will be thy kingdom come. Somebody says, a major prophet of God, I'm afraid of you. I don't know what is happening. Are you in the courtroom, or what is going on there? I said, I don't need to be in the courtroom, because whatever the king said, there's a prophet that telleth the people whatever the king have said in his chambers. A prophet that saith whatever the king saith in his chamber. A prophet that is sitting down and upholding and seeing and scanning through the realm of the spirit to see the king, and whatever the king saith in his chamber is a prophet called the prophet Elijah. Prophet Dr. David Kingleo Elijah is the servant of the Most High God that God is using to say and to also declare whatever the king saith in his chamber. And whatever the king saith in his chamber is open before the prophet of God, and the prophet of God is saying it clear as he sees it in the realm of the spirit. And so wherever you're watching, just be rest assured that God is in the special business of making sure that his people see it what he's saying, his people know what his will, his people understanding the mystery of this life, and being able to follow the realm of the spirit and follow the proceedings of the spiritual. Because I am seeing what's going on, and not that court case going on right there in Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will have no other thing than to attest and uphold what the High Court has brought up. Because this is what is there already in the realm of the spirit. And people going there is to waste the resources, waste the money, and waste time and struggle over it. And at the end of it all, they return with what God has told the major prophet of God of what's going to become.